Buy direct, the Jewelry Exchange Bethesda.
Tonight, the deadly explosion in midair. The passenger jet shortly after takeoff from New York City. The left engine exploding, parts of it blasting through a window, nearly sucking a passenger out of the plane. One dead tonight, several passengers injured. Some passengers posting video live from inside the cabin. Also, the video just out tonight, the deadly police shooting of that unarmed black man in his grandmother's backyard. The question now, why did they wait roughly 7 minutes to perform CPR? And why were the body cams put on mute? The legal storm tonight, first that crush of cameras outside court, and now tonight what Stormy Daniels has now declared on national TV. And the sketch tonight, the $100,000 reward she's now offering. The major announcement from Starbucks tonight. They will shut down all Starbucks across the country for 1 day after the controversial arrests. And now tonight, a new video emerging. Hundreds of Americans stranded in Mexico, their flight canceled. The airline telling them the next flight they can get them out on is in June. And the new surveillance coming in tonight of the grandmother accused of 2 murders, stealing an identity. Word coming in tonight of the reward.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a Tuesday night. And we begin with that horrific scene playing out on board a passenger jet, Southwest Flight 1380. It had just taken off from New York City, an engine then exploding. A piece of that engine then smashing through a window. Passengers say the woman seated beside that window was nearly sucked out of the plane. She did not survive. Several others were injured, oxygen masks dropping down, then an emergency landing in Philadelphia. You can see firefighters waiting there, dousing the tarmac with foam. Tonight, the NTSB is now on the scene investigating the first deadly accident involving a domestic airline in nearly a decade. ABC's Lindsay Janis leads us off from Philadelphia.
The in-flight terror began just minutes after takeoff.
Number 1 engine failure.
Southwest Flight 1380, carrying 144 passengers and 5 crew, was headed from New York's LaGuardia for Dallas when it abruptly diverted to Philadelphia. The cabin losing pressure, masks dropping from the ceiling, terrified passengers bracing.
We've got injured passengers.
Injured passengers, okay, and is your airplane physically on fire?
No, it's not on fire, but part of it's missing.
You can see the left engine mangled, a window in the 14th row blown out where a female passenger was sitting. Multiple passengers telling us she was nearly sucked out of the plane.
You hear a loud explosion. The explosion shattered the window. Immediately there was wind was pouring through the plane.
We do have information there was one fatality.
At least 7 more injured. Passengers live streaming the chaos on the plane's Wi-Fi. Matt Tranchen sending his pregnant wife back in Dallas a goodbye text.
My wife is in her 3rd trimester with our first child. So I spent a lot of my time trying to articulate what I wanted my final words to be to my unborn child.
Shaken passengers evacuated down the stairs to the foam-covered tarmac. Right there you can see that mangled left engine.
The passengers on board the aircraft, in addition to the flight crew and the cabin crew, did some pretty amazing things under very difficult circumstances.
Southwest experienced a similar incident in 2016 on another packed flight from New Orleans to Orlando. No one was injured in that incident. That incident is still under investigation.
We've had 2 incidents in less than 2 years, and the question is it a maintenance problem with Southwest? Is it a design problem with the manufacturer, or is it some new failure mode that we didn't know about that comes when the airplanes begin to get old?
And Lindsay Janis with us live tonight from Philadelphia. And Lindsay, we were all trying to remember the last time there was a deadly incident involving a domestic plane. I remember being on the scene in Buffalo, New York. That was the last deadly incident in 2009?
That's right, David, nearly 10 years ago. And tonight, NTSB investigators are going to be taking apart that engine and looking at the plane's maintenance records to try to figure out how this happened. Southwest says it is devastated, and it has expressed its deepest sympathies to the family of the woman who lost her life. David?
Just an awful scene today. All right, Lindsay Janis leading us off. Lindsay, thank you. We're going to move on tonight and to new drama unfolding in the president and his personal attorney's legal battle now to protect what was seized by the FBI. And tonight, Stormy Daniels responding to what the president said recently on Air Force One. She went on national TV today, asked about the president saying he did not know about any payment to silence her. And Daniels and her attorney then released this sketch of the man who she says threatened her and her baby to keep silent about Donald Trump. They are now offering a $100,000 reward. ABC's Kira Phillips on the story again tonight for us.
Tonight, as Michael Cohen fights to protect much of what was seized by the FBI, what he can't stop is Stormy Daniels, who today went on The View.
I'm tired of being threatened and intimidating me and trying to say that you'll ruin my life and take my, all my money and my house and whatever. I'm sorry, I'm done. I'm done being bullied.
Stormy Daniels has said she would give all the money back and that President Trump never even signed the agreement to silence her. Just 2 weeks ago, the president said he knew nothing about Michael Cohen paying off Stormy Daniels.
Did you know about the $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels?
Did this surprise you at all?
Let me just say, I work in the adult business and I'm a better actress than he is.
Daniels and her lawyer, Michael Avenatti, also releasing this sketch, which they say is based on her memory of the man who allegedly threatened her and her baby in a parking lot in 2011.
I just remember him saying, oh, it's a beautiful little girl. I'd be ashamed if something happened to her mom. Forget about this story. Leave Mr. Trump alone.
I mean, this is a very detailed sketch, and it was created by a woman by the name of Lois Gibson. She has the world record for the most identifications. She works with the FBI and law enforcement all around the country. We're offering a $100,000 reward for information leading to the identification of this man.
And Stormy Daniels isn't the only one talking after yesterday's courtroom drama.
Some recent news about yours truly that came up today.
It was revealed Michael Cohen had just 3 clients last year. One, President Trump. The second, Republican fundraiser Elliot Broidy. The Wall Street Journal reports Broidy arranged a $1.6 million payment to a model who became pregnant during her affair with him. And in court, audible gasps when it was revealed the third client was Sean Hannity.
My name was mentioned in court proceedings earlier today.
Hannity, who tweeted this photo with Cohen in 2015, says he relied on Cohen for advice and it never involved a third party.
Michael Cohen never represented me in any legal matter. I never retained his services. I never received an invoice. I never paid Michael Cohen for legal fees. My questions exclusively almost focused on real estate.
But Sean Hannity never disclosed to his audience that he was a client of Michael Cohen's, even as he defended Cohen on his show.
Liberal mainstream media, they've gone totally off the rails over the FBI's highly questionable raid on Michael Cohen.
Hannity defending Cohen on the same day President Trump tweeted, "Big show tonight" on Sean Hannity. Overnight, well-known defense attorney Alan Dershowitz criticizing Hannity on his own show.
Well, first of all, Sean, I do want to say that I really think that you should have disclosed your relationship with Cohen when you talked about him on this show.
And ABC's Kira Phillips joins us again tonight. And Kira, Fox News now responding to what was revealed in court.
David, Fox News says they were surprised by the Hannity reveal. They say they didn't know about Hannity's, quote, informal relationship with Cohen. They also say Hannity continues to have full support from Fox News. David?
Kira Phillips with us tonight. Kira, thank you. We do have one more note on this, so let's get right to ABC News Chief Legal Analyst Dan Abrams. And Dan, we know that Michael Cohen and the president were trying to protect a lot of what was seized in those FBI raids. So bottom line tonight, who seems to have the upper hand in this current legal fight?
Well, look, the president and Michael Cohen lost in their effort to be the initial ones to go in and determine what's privileged and what's not. But now prosecutors go in, they do some administrative work, they put it on a searchable database. Both sides are going to have access to it. And the only remaining question is who should make those first decisions? Should it be federal prosecutors or an independent individual? But regardless, the defense is going to have a continuing say in this battle.
In what stays and what goes.
Exactly.
In the meantime, you have pointed out all along here that FBI agents can't go in there and raid on some expedition to get everything they can find on the president. They just simply can't do that.
And this wasn't about the president. This was about Michael Cohen. they had evidence that they brought to a judge that Michael Cohen may have committed a crime and that there was a risk of destroying evidence. That's the only way you get a judge to sign off on something like this.
To actually raid an attorney's office, which is very rare.
Very, very rare. And there are specific procedures in place that you have to follow when that happens.
All right, Dan Abrams and Kira Phillips with us on this tonight. Thank you. We turn next tonight to a sweeping decision revealed by Starbucks this evening. They're now planning to close more than 8,000 stores for a time, all on one day. They say for training, after accusations of racial bias. It comes after those arrests in Philadelphia. 2 black men led away in handcuffs by police after asking to use the bathroom. And now tonight, another video now emerging. Here's ABC's Lindsay Davis.
What do we want? Justice! Tonight, for the first time, we're hearing the 911 call from the Starbucks manager who sparked protests and nationwide outrage.
I have 2 gentlemen in my cafe that are refusing to make a purchase or leave.
Police say that call was made after the men were denied access to the bathroom. The 2 black men were arrested for trespassing and handcuffed. But this man says the men were there for a meeting.
What did they get called for? Because there are 2 black guys sitting here meeting me?
On Monday, the CEO of Starbucks apologized to both men in person. And today, the company announced it will close all locations the afternoon of May 29th to train all 175,000 employees in racial bias education geared toward preventing discrimination and to ensure everyone inside a Starbucks store feels safe and welcome. What happened in Philadelphia is now prompting this man to share what he says happened to him at a California Starbucks. Brandon Ward says he was denied the code to the bathroom because he hadn't yet made a purchase. But he says this white man had no problem.
I asked for the code.
You asked for the code and they just gave it to you, right? Before you made a purchase.
Yeah.
And you guys
Ward then confronts the store manager.
I just tried to use the bathroom like you did, and they gave it to you. Is it my skin color? Is it my skin color? Is it my skin color?
And Lindsay Davis with us again tonight. Lindsay, what's Starbucks saying about this latest video?
Starbucks says they take the video very seriously and that they're working closely with their team to learn from their mistakes. Now, as for the manager who was at this Philadelphia location who called the police, she's now out of a job. David.
Lindsay Davis in Philadelphia. And from Sacramento tonight, troubling new questions about the police shooting of Stephon Clark in his grandmother's backyard. Tonight, there's now newly released audio and video clips. And you'll remember those first images of police chasing Clark, then firing 20 times. Tonight here, the new questions. Why police waited about 7 minutes to perform CPR, and why did they mute their body cams? Here's ABC's Whit Johnson.
Hey, show me your hands, good. Tonight, new body cam video showing the critical moments after the fatal police shooting of Stephon Clark.
You have a gun?
We have security. Confusion. 2 Sacramento officers who fired 20 shots, still unclear whether Clark is armed.
Police department, can you hear us?
We need to know if you're okay.
Clark motionless in his grandmother's backyard. It was roughly 7 minutes before officers performed CPR.
No pulse. No breathing?
No.
The shooting last month sparking outrage. Police had been chasing Clark following reports of someone breaking into cars. Officers found only a cell phone. The new footage now raising new questions.
Are you muted or on?
Muted, but I can...
muted.
Officers seen on tape muting their body cameras multiple times.
Are you muted?
I'm off all the way.
Okay.
That will be part of our investigation, determining why they muted their body cameras.
David, Sacramento police are now enforcing tougher body cam rules, including when an officer wants to mute a camera, they have to state the reason into the microphone first. David?
Whit Johnson with us tonight. Thank you, Whit. Former First Lady Barbara Bush is surrounded by her family tonight, and this evening a very personal reveal. Her son Neil reporting the entire family is now taking comfort in reading to her, Neil reading to his mother, from her own memoir. ABC's Dan Harris is in Houston for us.
Even in failing health, former First Lady Barbara Bush retains her signature sense of humor, according to her son Neil, who spoke with Houston CBS affiliate KHOU.
She's been answering the phone when people call in and saying, hello, this is yes, don't believe everything you read or you hear.
Neil Bush says as his mother has become more frail, he and his siblings have been spending, quote, quality time with her, often reading books, including her own memoir, aloud. It was Neil's childhood dyslexia that in part inspired Barbara Bush's passion to promote literacy.
The post-presidency has been a real blessing, and it's a reminder of just what a fabulous woman she is. and what a great life they've lived, and what a great life we've experienced, and how much they've done for so many others.
And tonight, Mrs. Bush is being lauded for what may be one final act of service by announcing her decision to not seek additional medical treatment and to instead focus on, quote, comfort care.
And you know, Dan, so many are praising her for going public with that decision, a decision so many families and loved ones